When Ayesha became the second wife, the world stopped calling her by her name, asterisk. They called her the other woman, they called her selfish, they called her homebreaker. No one ever asked why she said yes. Ayesha was 26 when she married Imran. She wasn't dreaming of stolen love or secret nights. She wasn't chasing a married man. She was chasing security. Her father had died of a heart attack, leaving behind debts instead of blessings. Her brothers were struggling. Her mother's medicines cost more than their monthly income. Proposals came but disappeared the moment people heard about the responsibilities tied to her name. Then Imran's proposal came. "I am already married," he said honestly, his eyes downcast. Asterisk, I won't lie to you. Asterisk, that honesty felt like mercy. Asterisk, my first wife cannot have children, he continued. My parents want an heir. I need a second marriage. Ayesha was silent. He didn't promise love. He didn't promise equality. He promised respect, a separate home, and financial support for her family. Asterisk, that night, Ayesha cried into her pillow and whispered, asterisk, Allah, if this is wrong, stop me. Asterisk, nothing stopped her. Asterisk, she entered his life quietly, without drums or celebrations. No bridal procession, no laughing cousins, no pictures, just a signed paper and a whispered cubal high. Imran kept his promise. Asterisk, a small flat, monthly expenses, polite behavior. Asterisk, but politeness is not warmth. Asterisk, at night, when he left to return to his first wife, the walls echoed louder than her thoughts. She learned to eat alone. She learned to sleep without waiting. She learned not to ask questions. Still, society punished her daily. Neighbors stared. Relatives whispered. Asterisk, women smiled at her with eyes full of judgment. You knew he was married, they said, as if that sentence explained everything. Months passed. One day, Ayesha felt dizzy while washing dishes. The doctor smiled. Asterisk, congratulations, you're pregnant. Her hands shook. She wasn't afraid of motherhood. She was afraid of what motherhood would turn her into. When Imran heard the news, he froze. Asterisk, that's good, he said, but his voice carried fear. Fear of conflict. Fear of responsibility. Asterisk, fear of his first wife's tears. Asterisk, when he told his first wife. Sana, the house exploded. Asterisk, so this is why you married. Again? Sana screamed. To replace me? Imran stood silent. That silence destroyed two women at once. Asterisk. Sana never spoke to Ayesha directly. Asterisk, but her pain traveled through Imran's coldness. He visited less. He called less. He stopped smiling. Ayesha carried life inside her and loneliness around her. One night she asked softly, "Do you regret marrying me?" Imran didn't answer immediately. "I regret hurting Sana," he said finally. Asterisk, I regret making things complicated. Ayesha nodded. She didn't ask if he regretted hurting her. Asterisk, when her son was born, Ayesha held him and cried, not from happiness, but from fear. Asterisk, what will they call you? She whispered. Asterisk, the son of the second wife. Asterisk, Imran came, held the baby, and left early. Sana refused to see the child. Imran's parents were happy, but only for the grandson, not the woman who gave birth to him. Ayesha understood something that day. In this marriage she was useful, not loved. Years passed. Her son grew. Her heart hardened. She stopped expecting love and focused on raising her child with dignity. Asterisk, then one evening, Imran came and sat quietly. Sana is sick, he said. She needs me. I'll be staying. There more. Ayesha looked at him calmly. I understand. He seemed surprised. You're not angry? She smiled faintly. I was angry when I still hoped. That sentence followed him as he left. Months later, Sana died, the house filled with mourners. Sympathy poured in. Asterisk people looked at Ayesha differently now, some with pity, some with suspicion. Imran came to her one night, broken. I lost her, he cried. Asterisk, I didn't protect her. Ayesha listened. She didn't remind him that she had been losing herself quietly for years. Asterisk, after a long silence, Imran said, asterisk, now we can live properly, as husband and wife. Ayesha looked at him, really looked, and for the first time, she spoke her truth. Asterisk, I was never waiting for her absence. She said gently, asterisk, I was waiting for my own presence. Asterisk, a year later, Ayesha asked for separation. Not because she hated him, but because she finally loved herself. Asterisk, she raised her son alone. Worked, struggled, survived. People still whispered asterisk, but now, when they called her the second wife, she smiled and thought, I was never second in my own story. People thought, Ayesha left to punish Imran. They were wrong. She left because staying had started to erase her. Asterisk. Life after separation was not gentle. Asterisk. She moved into a smaller house, 2 rooms, peeling paint, a leaking roof during monsoon. Her son Hamza was 5 years old, too young to understand marriage, old enough to feel absence. Asterisk. Where is Abu? He asked one night. Ayesha paused. He's in our prayers, she said. Asterisk. That answer followed. Hamza for years. Money was tight. Ayesha stitched clothes during the day and taught neighborhood children English at night. Some parents hesitated when they learned her past. She was a second wife, they whispered, as if that was a disease. She smiled through it. She had learned how to survive smiles that hurt. Asterisk every night. After Hamza slept, she sat by the window and let the silence talk. Asterisk, sometimes she missed Imran, not his love, but the idea of not being alone. Asterisk, and then she reminded herself. Loneliness is lighter than humiliation. Imran didn't disappear. He sent money regularly. He visited Hamza once a month, but each visit was awkward. He looked older, quieter, like a man who had finally realized too much. Too late. Asterisk one evening. As Hamza played with toy cars, Imran spoke softly. You were strong, he said. Stronger than I deserved. Ayesha didn't respond. Regret spoken late is still regret, but it doesn't heal the past. Years passed. Asterisk Hamza grew into a thoughtful boy. He asked fewer questions but observed everything. One day after school, he came home upset. They said, I don't have a real family, he muttered. Ayesha knelt in front of him. Who said that? Asterisk. Other boys. She held his face gently. Listen to me. A real family is where you are loved without conditions. And you have that. Hamza nodded, but the wound stayed. When Hamza turned 12, Imran fell seriously ill. Asterisk hospital visits became frequent. Ayesha went not as a wife, not even as an ex-wife, but as a human being who once shared a life. Asterisk one night, Imran whispered, asterisk, I ruined 3 lives trying to satisfy everyone. Ayesha replied calmly, no, you ruined lives by not choosing honesty when it mattered. Tears slid into his hair. I loved you. In my own way. She closed her eyes. Love without courage is cruelty. Asterisk. Imran died quietly one winter morning. No dramatic farewell. No final apology. Asterisk at the funeral. People looked at Ayesha with confusion. Ammi, he said, did Abu ever love you? Ayesha closed her eyes. He cared, she replied carefully. Asterisk, but love needs courage. And he was afraid. Hamza nodded even though she couldn't see it. At university, Hamza heard stories. Asterisk women. Abandoned after second marriages. Asterisk. Children denied inheritance. Mothers erased from records. Every story felt personal. Asterisk during a class debate. A student said, asterisk, second wives know what they're getting into. They deserve the consequences. Hamza stood up. My mother was a second wife, he said calmly. Asterisk, and she deserved dignity, not punishment. The room fell silent. For the first time, he spoke her truth out loud. Asterisk Ayesha watched her son from afar, quietly proud, quietly afraid. She feared the world would harden him. One night, Hamza came home unexpectedly. Asterisk. I won my first case, he said. It was about a woman denied her child's rights because she was the second wife. Ayesha hugged him, tears soaking his shirt. Today, Hamza whispered, I gave someone the justice you never got. Asterisk years later, Hamza stood before a crowd. He spoke about women whose stories are buried under labels. My mother was called many things, he said. Asterisk, but she raised a man who knows the cost of silence. Ayesha listened from the back row. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel invisible. That night, Hamza asked, Ammi, do you regret anything? She thought for a long time. I regret believing that survival meant silence. She said. Asterisk, but I don't regret you. Never you. Hamza held her hands. I exist because you endured. Epilogue years later, when Ayesha's hair turned silver, she sat under the same window where she once cried alone. Asterisk, now. Laughter filled the house. Students, children, life. Someone once asked her, asterisk, if you could change the past, would you? Asterisk Ayesha smiled softly. No, she said, because pain taught me how to raise a son who would never cause it. Hamza didn't believe in rushing into marriage. He had seen what haste, pressure, and silence could do to people. Asterisk, so when proposals came, he listened carefully, not to families, not to traditions, but to truth. Asterisk one evening, he sat with Ayesha. On the veranda. Asterisk Ammi, he said. People say marriage completes a man. Ayesha smiled faintly. No, marriage only reveals what a man already is. Asterisk Hamza nodded. He had learned that lesson long ago. He met Zara at a legal aid workshop. She was sharp, kind, and unafraid to speak. Asterisk on their third meeting. He told her everything. My mother was a second wife, he said. Our life was complicated, painful. Zara didn't interrupt. When he finished, she said softly, asterisk, then you know what not to repeat. That answer mattered more than love. Before saying yes, Hamza did something unusual. Asterisk, he brought Zara to meet Ayesha, not formally, not ceremonially, just tea, silence, observation. Ayesha watched carefully. How Zara listened, how she waited. Asterisk, how she spoke to Hamza with respect, not possession. Later that night, Ayesha said, she doesn't compete. She understands. Hamza smiled. That was his mother's blessing. Asterisk on the night before his nikah. Hamza couldn't sleep. He sat beside Ayesha. Ammi, he whispered. I'm scared. Asterisk. Of what? Asterisk of becoming a man who hurts without meaning to. Asterisk. Ayesha held his face. Then promise me one thing, she said. If you ever stop loving, don't stop respecting. Hamza nodded, tears breaking free. I promise, he he said. Asterisk. I will never make someone feel like a second choice. The wedding was simple. No noise, no pressure, no expectations forced on anyone. Asterisk. Ayesha watched from the corner, hands trembling, not with fear, but relief. Asterisk. This time, history wasn't repeating. It was ending. After marriage, Zara once asked. Ayesha quietly. Asterisk. How did you survive everything? Ayesha thought for a moment. I didn't survive, she said honestly. Asterisk. I transformed. Zara held her hand. I hope I become the kind of woman who raises a son like you did. Ayesha's eyes filled. For the first time, someone saw her not as a past mistake, but as a foundation. Years passed gently. Ayesha became a grandmother. She held the baby and whispered the same prayer she once made alone. Asterisk. May you never inherit silence. Hamza watched his mother rocking the child. In that moment, he understood something fully. Pain doesn't end when it's forgotten. It ends when it teaches.